A massive security effort in New Delhi made for a peaceful Olympic torch relay. Police outnumbered spectators on the route to New Delhi's India Gate. Some 18,000 police officers were on patrol, virtually locking down the Indian capital. Protesters couldn't get close, but they held rallies elsewhere in the city. Police tell Agence France-Presse that 180 Tibetan activists were arrested along the route. Tibetans also held their own symbolic torch relay earlier in the day. The torch run on New Delhi's main avenue to the India Gate was much shorter than originally planned. Officials shortened it from 9 kilometres to just 2.3. The event only had a few hundred spectators, kept far away from the torch bearers. Our Sarah Seidner was along the route. She joins us now on the phone. Sarah, authorities there must be breathing a huge sigh of relief right about now.
I think that's a good way to put it simply. As you mentioned, look, this really did go off without a hitch within the torch area, within the 2.3-kilometer relay. There really was no disturbance, but partly that was because there was really no members of the public who were allowed into that area. Everyone allowed in had to show some sort of credential or ID to get in that was given to them by either the Indian Olympic Association or the Indian government. And so none of the general public could just stroll into the area. They cut off the metro long before you got anywhere near Rajpath and near the Parliament or near India Gate. They also kept any cars away. So really it was quite a sanitized event. And you know that area, Anjali, is usually a place where lots of people gather and enjoy themselves. Hundreds of people are always walking or driving or enjoying themselves around that area or working in the area. And all the buildings even along the area, the government buildings, were all closed down. No one was allowed in and out during this stretch of torch relay. So it was sanitized, but it did go off the way the government wanted it because there was no problems, Anjali.
Police had also been equipped with blankets and fire extinguishers, Sarah, just in case anybody decided to try and set themselves alight. So clearly there must have been a real palpable fear almost that someone may try to take advantage of this relay to their own ends.
Sure, because for weeks now there have been demonstrations outside the Chinese embassy. There have been rumors, and not just rumors, people saying, look, from the Tibetan Youth Congress, want to show that we can try to get close to the torch and even put the flame out if possible. So yes, police were worried that would be a similar situation to what happened in Paris and in London. But the Indian Olympic Association was emphatic that it did not go that way, that it was very safe, that it was very clean, clear, and that it got done in a very proper manner. But, the sad thing about it really is that the public really couldn't see it, and that's sort of the spirit of the torch, that harmony, it brings peace and harmony to people, and it's all about showing the Olympic spirit. The general public did not really get to see that today here in New Delhi.
Sarah, thank you very much indeed for that. Sarah Seidner there, on the phone from New Delhi. Well, the torch changed hands some 70 times during its New Delhi run. Torch bearers included some of India's biggest sports stars. One of them is world champion trap shooter Manavjit Singh Sandhu, and he's on the phone with us now. Manavjit, good to have you on the programme. So then, most of us will never get the chance to hold the Olympic torch, let alone run with it. So just tell us what the experience was like for you. Manavjit, can you hear me? What a shame that was. Hopefully we shall try and get him back, because I'd love to know what it actually felt like to be holding that world-famous and very controversial at this point flame high above his head while running through New Delhi. In any case, though, we're going to move on from that. Famous Chinese actress Zhang Di is speaking out in defense of China on the Olympic torch matter. She, like many other Chinese, thinks that the protests are an insult. In her latest blog, she writes, after the unhappy incidents during the torch relay in London, Paris and San Francisco, I deeply sensed the ulterior motives of certain Western politicians and the biases of Western media. Well, the anti-China protests have also touched a nerve amongst the Chinese public. A Chinese internet campaign calls for a boycott of French supermarket Carrefour, one of the most popular stores in China. Petitions and text messages say protests during the torch relay amount to an attack on China, and people are urged to boycott the store starting on May the 1st. China's foreign ministry is taking no action against the boycott.
Recently, some Chinese people expressed their views and sentiments. I think there's reason for this, and the French side needs to review and consider it. I believe the Chinese people will express their reasonable appeal in accordance with the law.
And for all the latest from Beijing in the run-up to the Games in August, you can go to our website. You'll find there video reports, blogs and an interactive map of the torch relay. That's all at cnn.com/Olympics. Well, then we move on now to other main stories of the day. The South Korean prosecutors say